Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honour to be here in the Information Gallery at the Science Museum, and I'm very grateful to the Director General for giving me the opportunity to talk about a project called the New Age of Wonder, which is part of the new Ideas Service. This is, as you saw in the film, the largest public engagement project ever attempted. Put very simply, it's the idea that the great scientific and cultural institutions of Britain will come together with the BBC to make the country better. Now, in 2014, the Treasury and the Department for Business Innovation and Skills released what I think was a superb document. It's called Our Plan for Growth, Science and Innovation. It rightly noted that Britain's long-term prospects are inextricably linked to our success in knowledge-intensive services and industries. That's science and engineering, but also the arts, education and creative industries. Areas, fortunately, in which we already have strong foundations in place. Look at our universities. The UK has 1% of the world's population. We spend 3% of research funding, but we produce 8% of the world's academic publications, and we receive almost 15% of the highest impact citations. That means that we're the world's most efficient nation in generating new knowledge. This is the foundation of our economy. Knowledge-intensive services and high-tech manufacturing contribute over 40% of our GDP and rising. Those figures, by the way, come from a report called The Scientific Century, published by another of our great national institutions, the Royal Society, the world's oldest and most prestigious scientific institution, which celebrated its 350th anniversary in 2010. That year, the BBC partnered with the Society to deliver the Year of Science, which included my first two series, Wonders of the Solar System and Stargazing Live, but also series by Robert Winston, Professor Ian Stewart, The Sky at Night and the Horizon teams, Bang Goes the Theory, and many more. That season has been credited as playing a major role in the 52% increase in applications to study physics at university from 2008 to 2012. That's a very important figure. And it's not hard to understand or to credit the Year of Science, at least partly. Television is still the most powerful medium for inspiring and therefore influencing our young people. Professor Alice Roberts, Professor Ian Stewart, Professor Chris Lintott, Dr. Helen Chersky, Dr. Adam Rutherford, Dr. Maggie Adair-Pocock, Professor Uta Frith, Dr. Hannah Fry, Professor Jim Al-Khalili. Here is a list of household names. And crucially, all academics who are able to be role models, who are able to educate and influence young people because of the platform the BBC provides. And of course, my generation were influenced by Jacob Brimowski, Sir David Attenborough, Robert Winston, Sir Patrick Moore, all household names, again, because of the BBC. Now, that immensely successful 2010 partnership between the BBC and the Royal Society worked. It changed many people's views of science for the better, and it inspired some to go on to become the scientists of the future. This is the template for the much larger and much more ambitious project outlined by Tony Hall, A New Age of Wonder. Now, as I've already said, the idea is very simple, and that's a good thing because simple ideas have a chance of working. In Britain, we have an unrivaled set of public institutions. The Royal Society, the Science Museum Group, the Natural History Museum, the Royal Institution, the Wellcome Trust, the British Library, Universities UK, the Royal Academy of Engineering, the Academy of Medical Sciences, the Royal Botanic Gardens, all these and many more. These institutions are priceless treasures. They're unique libraries and generators of knowledge. And I strongly believe that people of all ages and all backgrounds would love to wander through this knowledge. It's a national asset. It's owned by us, the people of Britain. There are many thousands, indeed millions of young people who'd have their futures transformed if they had easy access to it. How do I know? Well, let me just give you a personal example. I'm the patron of a school in Tower Hamlets called St Paul's Way. 10 years ago, it was a failing school. Today, it's the first Faraday Science School in London. It has an outstanding Ofsted report. A few weeks ago, the Minister for Universities and Science, Jo Johnson, opened the St Paul's Way Annual Science Summer School. It was attended by many schools from the Tower Hamlets area, and it counted amongst its speakers the chief scientist at NASA's Johnson Space Center. Its sixth form students work with Queen Mary University on diabetes research. Half of the sixth form last year went on to study STEM subjects at university, and half of those were young women. It is a tremendous success story, and it supports my very strongly held view that the young people from all backgrounds want to learn, they want to be inspired, and they find science and engineering, and indeed the arts and creative industries fascinating and rewarding. They simply need access to information, and they need support. These students are our future. We cannot afford not to invest in them. And here's where the BBC comes in. The BBC is first and foremost a national institution. That means it exists to make this country better. It's also a media company, arguably the world's most recognised and trusted media company. It reaches 97% of UK citizens every week. And these are the people that our universities and our institutions want to reach, to inspire and to inform. So I think it's obvious, it is blindingly obvious, that together, the BBC, the Royal Society, the Science Museum Group, Natural History Museum, the universities, the Royal Academy of Engineering, and all those others that I listed earlier, can transform Britain. And as George Osborne said numerous times, they can help to make Britain the best place in the world to do science, and I might add, the best place in the world to advance the acquisition of knowledge in all areas of study. The key is for our institutions to have the maximum possible access to the public. And the BBC has this access. If we didn't already have the world's finest public service broadcaster, we would want to invent it to make this work. So forget all the media speak. Forget all the committees staffed by ex-media executives banging on about media landscapes and all that drivel. I'm with Armando Iannucci in his excellent MacTaggart lecture. I do not believe that media experts, however excellent their track record, are the right people to make recommendations that affect the future of our knowledge economy and therefore the future of our country. It's too important. This goes way beyond that. I do, however, believe I live in a country with the finest institutions in the world, the best universities in the world, and the best public service broadcaster in the world, which, at risk of embarrassing the Director General, now has a leader who is absolutely committed, who absolutely believes in the transformational power that rests with our great institutions. So this leads me to believe that we can make Britain the best place in the world to do science, to do engineering, to be an entrepreneur, to create and to generate knowledge, if we work together. So I say to government, look carefully at how you can help strengthen these institutions, how you can help them strengthen themselves, because this will strengthen our country. One of the partners in the New Age of Wonder is the Royal Institution. It was founded in 1799 to make Britain a better place through science and engineering. Joseph Banks, its first president, wrote in its prospectus that the great public advantage will be derived from the general diffusion of a spirit of experimental investigation and improvement. Good taste, said Banks, with its inseparable companion, good morals, will